Hello and welcome to Crazy Cody's Creatures, the online show about my own personal experiences with a variety of different animals. And there's no better way to start off episode 1 than to talk about the capybara.
Crazy Cody's Creatures.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is how you pronounce the word capybara. It's real simple. It's capybara. It's not capybara, it's not chupacabra, and it's not capybara. When people call them capybaras, I think it's the dumbest way to say capybara. All I can think in my head is like, yo man, I saw a capybara on the internet and he was in a bathtub with a duck on his back and it was real cool. Like that's all I can think of is how dumb of a way to say capybara. There's a Y in it. There's no A in the middle. It's capybara. It's not capybara. So there you go. It's real simple. Capybara. Good job, everybody. Now we know. So now that we know how to pronounce the word capybara, let's talk about capybara aggression. And I know it sounds silly because the entire internet has decided that capybaras are the most chill animals and that they are friend-shaped, but in reality, capybaras can actually be quite aggressive. In fact, here's a video of Jojo showing signs of aggression. He's here in his little mud puddle, and you can see him turning around. He actually gets a razorback and behind him, and he charges forward and lunges at Poobly and shows his teeth and makes a huh noise. And you can see the shadow of Poobly the dog coming on over. And if you still don't believe me that capybaras can be aggressive, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to an article from Japan about a zoo that had a capybara, and he busted through a barrier to get to another capybara so he could fight him and ended up killing him. I'm sorry to bust your bubble about capybaras being the chillest animals on the planet, but they actually can be aggressive. And while we're on the topic of zoos and capybaras busting out, have you noticed recently that capybaras are getting loose everywhere? There was one that was captured in Tennessee. There was Bonnie and Clyde that were on the run in Canada for a couple of weeks. There was one that was captured in Massachusetts. And in Florida, capybaras may be a new invasive species. There's a group of at least 50 of them running around down there. It's bad enough you got giant pythons on the loose. Now you've got capybaras for the pythons to eat. What's going on, Florida? This is embarrassing. You gotta get it together. So, while we're on the topic of pythons eating capybaras, let's talk about what capybaras eat. Capybaras, for the most part, are vegetarian and eat a wide variety of different plants. Jojo, in particular, enjoyed eating a wide variety of different fruits and vegetables, such as watermelons, kale, pumpkins, and celery. Capybaras, due to large size, do eat quite a bit, and Jojo is no exception. Jojo also enjoyed eating yogurt, as well as grass and bamboo. So I know what you're thinking. What goes in must come out. And how did that work? So Jojo had a poo bucket, which is like a litter box, except it didn't have litter in it and had water. And instead of being a box, it was a bucket. It was a shallow dish that he would go into and do his business. You know, go in there when he needed to. And there would be some times where he didn't want to get his feet wet, so we had a dry poo station for him as well, which was a big flat pad that he would do his business on. He's drop his loads, you know, pinch a loaf, get it done, work it. You know what I'm talking about here. You know, it's poo-poos. He'd doing the poo-poos. Another thing Jojo would do is what's called coprophagia, where he would eat his own poop. Now, he didn't go back to the poo station and like snack on it later. He would eat it from the source. He usually did it after he would wake up, and it was a different kind of poop. It's called a secotrope, which is high in vitamins and probiotics. People like to drink coffee in the morning, while capybaras like to eat their own poop. They're both brown, but both very different. Ugh. And neither of them will help with bad breath. So now that we've gone over that Jojo liked going in a water source to go to the bathroom, let's talk about capybaras and water. So capybaras are semi-aquatic animals. And what that means is they spend most of their lives in and around water. And for the most part, Jojo hated to swim. I know, it sounds really weird. He's a capybara. He should love swimming. But for the most part, he hated it. The only time he really liked water is when he was hanging out in the bathtub, or if he was in the backyard playing in a mud puddle. And then after the mud puddle, he loved coming inside and making a huge mess in the living room because he's Jojo the capybara and he does what he wants. it took years before JoJo became a fan of swimming. It really took until meeting Sweetie, who was another capybara that lived in town, and going over to her house and watching me swim with Sweetie before JoJo really would go in on his own and try it out for himself. Even still, he would only ever swim with Sweetie or myself, and it does seem to be quite common with capybaras enjoying shallower water than they do deeper pools. So before you get that Olympic-sized swimming pool installed in your backyard, think about it. Start off small and work your way up. Now, there's still so much to go over with capybaras, such as their dental care. Since they are rodents, they do need to chew a lot. How they mark their territory using a Murillo. What the cost and legality of having a capybara really is. All this information I will go over in future videos as well. I just didn't want this to be a super long video, and I'm sure you're still trying to wrap your head around about capybaras being aggressive. But if you have questions for me, you can leave them in the comments down below. If you like what I'm doing here, you want to subscribe, you can, and hit the little bell, and that'll let you know when I post new videos. If not, you don't have to. I'm not going to force you to. If you like the video, you can make a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can put a thumbs down and tell me why in the comments, and I'll try and improve it for future videos. Now, I'm going to end this video with a fact about capybaras that I didn't know until I got JoJo, and I've never seen any information about online. And it's that capybaras sweat. And I always thought this was kind of weird because they're closely related to guinea pigs, and guinea pigs don't sweat. If guinea pigs get too hot, they need to find a cool area to, drop their body temperature. Capybaras, I just assumed, would jump into water to cool themselves off, but in reality, they sweat. And I learned this going to Sunset Park, which is a park in Las Vegas we used to go to. We used to hang out there, he would eat grass, people would walk by and be like, hey man, that's the funniest rabbit I've ever seen. I'm like, hey, he's not a rabbit, he's a capybara. And like, a capybara, I've never heard of a capybara before. And they'd walk off, I'm like, great. But when he was there, I realized, like, he's getting wet. So I touched him, like, oh, he's sweating. I didn't realize capybaras sweat. The other cool thing about capybara sweat, it smells really bad. Like, there's no way to describe how awful of a smell capybara sweat is. It's kind of like moldy, wet hay, but like worse than that. Like it's like 50 times worse than that. But it's like, it's kind of got like that essence of nasty hay, and it's super gross. If you ever get the chance to smell a sweaty capybara, I highly recommend you go over there and take a big old whiff, just like, because that'll change your world on capybaras, because it's a completely different funk than anything I've ever experienced in the animal kingdom. It's totally weird. It's totally unique to the capybara. So yeah, if you get a chance to smell capybara sweat, go ahead, do it. Thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you guys next time. And yeah, thanks for watching. So this is the part of the video where, if I remembered, I am going to post links to other videos I had. If not, it's just me for like 20 seconds here, shaking my hands around because I completely forgot to add, stuff here. Capybara breath in the morning. It doesn't get better with age.